I feel like every day I ask if businesses are ready for a no-deal Brexit, but do you believe now a no-deal Brexit has been taken off the table? Should we worry about whether they're ready or not?
Well, the simple fact of the matter, Francine, is businesses aren't ready for a messy and disorderly exit from the EU on the 29th of March. I think a lot of firms will say that that threat may have receded a little bit over the past couple of days, but what seems like a really big step in politics is actually only a small step for businesses. They haven't got that much more certainty than they did before. They're still awaiting a definitive vote in the Commons.
Okay, what does it mean for actually some of the supply chains? I don't know whether people stop stockpiling. We talked about stockpiling last time, saying that there's kind of no win-win situation, but they have to be ready. Do you believe, what are the businesses that you represent telling you now?
Well, those that are preparing, who are the minority, actually, will be in sectors like manufacturing. They are stockpiling. They do have inventory builds. They're reviewing contracts. And they're having some headwinds from some of their customers and suppliers as well. People who are saying, we want you to take the costs on of all of this uncertainty, for example, or we'll only give you a price quote for 48 hours because sterling is volatile. So a lot of manufacturers are seeing quite a lot of these issues, and for some of them it's squeezing their working capital as well. Money that they could be spending on training, money that they could be spending on investing and taking risks is just going into basically swimming in place right now.
Adam, you talked about how businesses are not ready for Brexit and this delay. How should they be positioning themselves now?
Well, what we're telling a lot of firms is that they need to take advantage of what information there is that they can plan for and plan for all scenarios. The simple fact remains that in some areas, for example, around trade across borders, businesses still don't have any definitive information that they can plan for. But in other areas, that information is slowly starting to emerge. So what we're concentrating minds on is taking the information that you have got and doing something. I would say about 2/3 of the firms that we survey from the British Chambers of Commerce still haven't done very much planning. The reason for that, for some of them, is because they simply don't have the resources to spare. So they're watching and waiting for an outcome before they take business decisions. That's rational for them, but it does mean things are left until the last minute.
Paul, the Brexit pound chart that you've been waiting for all day is finally right here on the screen. If you look at the volatility, it seems to me that a lot of markets are now pricing in some kind of deal, either a softer deal than what we already have, or even, no Brexit at all.
Yeah.
What if?
So, I mean, I think what we've got is most investors are now expecting that there will probably be a delay of some order. And whilst there is a delay, what that then does is increase the chance of a deal being done. But of course, we've got to remember, and this is where it gets really depressing, we're not talking about the final settlement. We're talking about the deal while we talk about the final settlement. There's another 2 years of this nonsense after we come to the exit conclusion. So there is also perhaps a growing realisation that perhaps we should be looking a little bit beyond. And what is the final settlement? And if Parliament is more involved, and if there is a genuine willingness to avoid the more European Research Group extremes, as it were, then maybe that's a more business-friendly final settlement. And there's just a little bit of focus on that now starting to come through, which is, I think, being reflected in part in sterling.
Are we going to see investments flow into the country if sterling drops a little bit lower? I mean, it's strengthened quite a lot, but how much is currency important to investments, or do you think investments come regardless of pound level?
No, I think investments come regardless of pound level at this point in time. What a lot of investors are saying to us, what a lot of international boards are saying to us, is they need to see an end to the political uncertainty in the UK, and then you will start to see some of those investments flowing again. Some say to us, if it's bad certainty, there will be some investment. If it's good certainty, there will see more, and that's a logical conclusion for them. But a lot of investors are watching and waiting, just as UK businesses are too.
And I'm hearing the same sort of thing, that if it's a no-deal exit, there is still investment. It's just different investment. So why, as a chief executive, would you be making a decision about investment now when you've got two different outcomes, and it'll be hopefully clearer in 6-9 months' time as to which one you take?
Exactly.
Adam, we talk about possibly less investment, fewer jobs. How will this impact the businesses?
Well, businesses are already seeing the leading edge of that. We have companies who've seen contracts cancelled. We've seen companies delaying quite a bit of planned investment. And this has geographic impacts around the UK, and it has impacts on trading relationships too. And we know that some parts of the United Kingdom are more exposed to uncertainty than others. The Midlands, the North East, places where there are heavy concentrations of manufacturing. So we are very, very concerned about a period of endless uncertainty. We've got to get to a conclusion on this matter so businesses can move on. The best way to do that, of course, is to avoid a messy and disorderly exit on the 29th of March, but then to get to some sort of deal. If this goes on for years and years, quite a lot more business investment could be postponed. And I think that's what firms of all sizes are telling us right now.